Oh, baby. Look, I'm not going to go out there and make this video because I want to antagonize anybody. I'm not antagonizing the Islanders fans that have been so kind to me every time I make videos talking about your prospects and your trade situations and your guys. The Islanders fans have been cool. Y'all have been good to me, so I'm not going to go out there and antagonize you. But I will say, at the same time, I kinda told you so. When the Islanders fan base was all piling on Canucks fans for saying, oh, why are you getting so hyped up about Anthony Beauvillier scoring all these points for you, Vancouver fans? Just you wait and see. When Beauvillier goes on a cold streak, you'll notice it. He's not gonna produce. It's inevitable. And we're just giving you the heads up, Vancouver. This guy goes cold once in a while. Just you wait and see. And when that entire idea was floating around on Twitter, I saw a lot of Canucks fans responding to it in a pretty similar way, and I'm trying to hide my laughter, but I can't, because a lot of Canucks fans that I saw were like, okay, well, you're saying that Beauvillier goes on cold streaks? Well, just wait and see what Bo Horvat goes on, dude. Like, sure, Bo Horvat, excuse me, might be scoring some goals for you right off the hop here, but just you wait and see. The guy isn't the most consistent guy, and the Canucks fan base has had like 8 years to determine that. Sure, this season, in 2022-2023, the guy had, what was that, like a 50, 60 goal pace for a good chunk of the year, so you could say he was a consistent goal scorer in this very limited part of his career, but the entire context leading up to this season, a contract year for Bo, never really saw him as the most consistent, as the guy that would always produce points, and a guy that you could rely upon 100% of the time. When the Canucks had that god-awful PK, hey, Bo Horvat was a part of that. When the Canucks would be losing games over and over, the leadership of Bo Horvat would not go out there and fix things. Now, I get it, that's kind of a bad thing to say about a guy, but it's kinda true, you know? You need leadership to win these hockey games, and for the most part, the Canucks didn't get too much of that at the beginning of 22-23. They lost so many games with blown leads, and you can't really go out there and say that anybody on the leadership group of this team did a good job at holding the team up to the standard they need to be at. But all introductions aside, the reason we're making this video is because Bo Horvat has gone through one of his pretty patented cold streaks the past little while. And it's so bad to the point that you have this article written on The Athletic the other day talking about how despite Bo Horvat's scoring drought, the Islanders keep on winning. This article opened up the can of worms because once it was published, everybody went out there and started saying, hey, wait a minute, what's Bo Horvat up to? Well, this is what he's up to. Since the start of March, the end of February, 2-1 shootout loss against the Minnesota Wild. Okay, Bo Horvat has 7 shots on goal, but 0 goals and 0 assists. Against the Detroit Red Wings on March 4th, Saturday night, 4-1 win. 0 goals, 0 assists, although he did have 3 shots. Against the Buffalo Sabres, they won as well, 3-2. Again, Bo Horvat had 0 goals and 0 assists. In fact, this time he was a -2. He also had 2 shots on the night. Then, against the Pittsburgh Penguins, the 4-3 overtime win, he gets an assist. Okay, good on him. Also had 3 shots in that span. Then you've got a 5-1 loss against the Capitals, a 5-2 loss against the Kings. Bo gets 0 goals. And then, against the California teams, okay, Anaheim, 6-3 win. Bo Horvat has 3 shots, but no goals. And against San Jose, 5 shots on goal, 4-1 win, but 0 goals and 0 assists. Bo Horvat, in his last 8 games worth of play, has had nothing, aside from that 1 assist in the Pittsburgh game. And you're seeing a lot of memes, a lot of Canucks folks talking about this and being like, hey, see, told you so. We told y'all that this guy goes through cold streaks. And you could chalk that up to a few things. Oh, Matthew Barzal is injured. Hey, Barzal's injured, but the team's still winning. That's awesome. But at the same time, Bo Horvat not having that elite playmaker to set him up makes things a lot more difficult for him to produce, because we had talked about this back in the initial trade video. Bo is not as effective of a hockey player as other centers on the Vancouver Canucks have been. JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, these guys can create plays, and they're better at doing that than Bo is. Bo is a fantastic trigger man. Bo is a fantastic on-the-rush north-south sniper. He can take the puck in the neutral zone, charge up, maybe dangle by a guy, then either deke out a goalie or just snipe the pants off of the roof beyond the hash marks. He's really good at just individual skills to force pucks to go in the goal. But when it comes to his playmaking, how he's able to thrive when he's the guy that's supposed to be forcing that, sure, you'll get the on-the-rush snipe once in a while, but for the most part, you'll see stints like this where the guy has 1 assist in 8 games played. Now, a lot of Islanders fans have gone to Horvat's defense and said, yeah, no, it's okay, like, the team is winning. You could see that Bo Horvat's leadership is helping out the team in terms of its on-ice results. They're getting the dubs, and that is ultimately what they need. That's the important part here in that deadly wildcard race in the East. But, counterpoint to that, you're paying this guy $8.5 million, bro. Like, you can't go out there and say that 1 point in 8 games is good enough. I don't care how good of a leader he is if he's not producing, and this is, at the end of the day, what you pay good players to be able to do. You paid Bo Horvat 8.5 by 8 because he was scoring at a 50-60 goal pace for most of this year, and you wanted that on your hockey team. You know what you didn't pay him to do? Get 1 point in 8 games played? Like, sure, he'll get back up to speed and he'll start producing again, hopefully earlier than when Barzal returns to the lineup, but this is sort of what Canucks fans were talking about. Sure, Anthony Beauvillier might have his cold streaks, but Bo Horvat does too. And he's not the perfect player by any means. We've made so many videos just talking about the contract cost, whether or not it's really worth it for Bo, what exactly it is that this guy does that makes him an effective hockey player, and why he was able to score so many freaking goals this season. In fact, here's a tweet that was gaining some traction earlier from this week. Kevin Kerr said, interesting stat for those still awake, in the 16 minutes and 41 seconds of ice time shorthanded over the last 11 games, Bo Horvat wasn't on the ice for a single opponent power play goal. Lane Lambert mentioned he's been impressed with Horvat's PK ability, and well, yeah. Matt then replies saying this, I'll die on this hill. Horvat is the reason this team found a consistent winning touch in the last month. He has contributed everywhere. The points will come. He's had several near goals every game because his shot is electric and he uses it often. The Nose replies saying that Horvat has been really solid defensively, and Matt says, yeah, he has. I love the steadiness he's provided. I really like our limited exposure to 13 on the wing both defensively and offensively, with 14 in the middle. Of course, Bo Horvat is 14. I gotta get used to saying that now because that guy's 53 in my mind, but nah, Casey Cizikas is a thing, fam. And while Bo Horvat is a guy that really has not produced in the past little while, I can go out there and give the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, as long as y'all are happy, like, if you're really that content with only his defensive play being what it is and his off-puck play, his PK play being what it is, that you're okay with $8.5 million a year till 2030, then okay, cool. Like, there's no problems there. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I'm just giving my own opinion there when I say that the guy's got 1 point in 8 games. Like, the points will come, most likely. But this is exactly what Canucks fans were talking about when they said, oh, you think Beauvillier goes on cold streaks? Well, Bo Horvat does too, man. And sure, he'll look okay during some of these stints, but you haven't seen the bad ones yet. Bo Horvat has been mostly a $6 to $6.5 million caliber player his entire career before this season, when he absolutely exploded for all the goals that he got. And he priced himself out of Vancouver, plain and simple. He couldn't have gotten a contract here because the money he could have gotten elsewhere, like $8.5 million by 8 years, for example, was that of a guy who scores at a 50-60 goal pace every year. And unfortunately, Horvat has only really done that like once. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, Islanders fans. I know I said at the beginning, I don't want to antagonize y'all. That's not what I think I did in this video. I just wanted to talk about the player, go over the situation, and give my thoughts about it as a Canucks fan who has watched this guy ever since he was 18 years old. Because to me, I really don't know where I draw the line when it comes to Horvat being worth that amount of money, especially when you consider that he's only got 1 point in his last 8 games. So, thoughts in the comment section below. Am I fair in my assessment? Do you think I was being a little bit too harsh? I'm more than free to listen to all the criticism y'all have in the comments, so please chuck those tomatoes as you see fit. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.